For the first time ever, you're going to be seeing me doing my siege attacks live on camera. So I hope that is exciting. A lot of people have actually been asking for this. My clan is actually matched up against an insanely high-ranked clan. So we're going up against OC Trap House Mafia, who are ranked 37 in the entire world. If you're not familiar with my particular clan, we are actually ranked 262. So obviously a significant difference there. We have 698 million clan power. They have 960. So it is significantly, we're outmatched, essentially, so to speak, right? Right now, though, the points are pretty similar. So we're at 1950, they're at 2850. Both strongholds have fallen, and there's still a lot of attacks on the table. So for example, myself, I haven't used any attacks yet. I know there's some other people in the clan that are in the same boat. So it is still very possible that we will win this. This is being recorded on the 11th of June. Chances are you're going to be seeing it significantly later just because I have a lot of videos already scheduled for upload. So, you know, it's going to be going live at some point in the future. So that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the defense and just kind of see how we're doing there. As an overall status report, by the way, both strongholds have fallen, so it is essentially now strictly just whoever can get the most points. So I was in post 5 with a rare team, who I'll actually go ahead and move over a little bit here. This was the particular rare team that I drafted up. So I had Seducer in the lead, I had Bellower as well as a Beast Wrestler, I think this guy's name is, and then also, of course, Tree Shield Knot. Now, I was using Seducer mainly just because he can place the decrease attack, and then he can also bring the aura of HP. However, based on this particular siege, and actually specifically based on the team that attacked me, I'm now actually going to be looking at a different rare champion to be using inside my teams, which is the Hospitaler. Let's go ahead and take a look at her real quick. So it's a rare champion from the Sacred Order, this fine looking lady right here. She has an ally speed in all battles by 10%, which is kind of right? She's relatively tanky for a rare though, and she's got decent base speed. Additionally, she has an A3 where she places an increased speed and increased crit rate on all allies for 2 turns, right? She also has an AoE, chance of removing 1 random buff on a 75% land rate, right? Not bad, all things considered. And then just an A1, attacks 1 enemy. She also has a passive that she revives a random ally with 25% HP and places a block damage buff on them for 1 turn whenever Harrier kills an enemy. So if you're running, you know, Harrier on the team with her, that's a potential option as well, right? Like, Harrier can actually hit decently hard, which is, you know, kind of cool, I guess, right? So you can actually run him with Hospitaler, right? And he's going to ignore 50% of the target's defense whenever he inflicts a critical hit, which is pretty insane because this guy has decent base attack at 1376, certainly okay speed at 96 for a rare, and he's also got, like, you know, a chance of placing a decreased defense. He's got a pretty big hit right here. I'm actually going to look up his multipliers real quick because I didn't realize how crazy their combo skill was. So let's pull up good old Hell Hades here. So on the A1, Harrier has a 3.5 times attack, which is categorized as godlike, right? So certainly if you're running them together. A2 has a 2.5 times attack, so that is a 5 times attack multiplier on a skill that if you run them together is going to ignore 50% of defense and also place a decreased defense. And then finally, this one has a 5.5 times attack multiplier. That's actually, like, freaking insane, people. So I may have to end up building out Harrier and then build out Hospitaler to go with him as well. Sacred Order are just, like, absolutely stacked for champions because we also have Purgator, who with the right setup on his A2 can be essentially one of the hardest hitting champions inside the entire game, which is, you know, pretty crazy. So kind of an OG forgotten one there. But essentially, that's something to go over. Now, when I was attacked, I don't think they used the duo, did they? They did not. Yeah, so they just ran Hospitaler, and then they ran Marquis, I think her name is, the rare that does defense-based damage, with a Banshee and then a Doom Screech. So essentially, my Beast Wrestler probably just didn't have enough enough damage to get through it. I love this chat, by the way. This is such a good chat. I'm very glad that this is how it is, right? It would suck if Plarium actually took it seriously to ban those people that were just, you know, spamming in chat. That would suck, right? But let's go ahead and take a look. So we got walkthrough here. This is actually where they made entry. They took out our DT1. They came through post 6. I am just going to show the defense reports here real quick, and we'll take a look at some of the ones that have held strong. So obviously we have Untolbro coming in here with some defensive victories. You know, everything else pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Looks like we're just getting clapped fairly easily. Excuse me. Kashi Boy coming in with that triple defensive victory against... there we go. Okay, I was curious. I was confused how they got beat, but yeah. So yeah, that was a pretty good defensive victory. 5-star awakened Lamasu in the lead there certainly does make it a bit of an interesting team. 6-star awakened Shuzen over here, still one of my most wanted champions, but you know, I don't spend a crap ton of money, so who knows if we're gonna get her right, unfortunately. Let's go ahead, and so obviously nothing too interesting here. Now it is worth noting, because I know somebody's gonna mention it. I actually had somebody come into my comments not too long ago and say, well, actually, our team was throwing, so, you know, it wasn't fair to critique our defenses. And it's like, okay, cool. But my clan leader was in talks with the leader of this particular clan, and apparently they were planning on tanking this siege, even though they are winning at the moment, which is kind of funny, but... yeah, so that's worth considering. Their attacks and their defenses might not be as strong as they could potentially be. So at the moment on the board here, at least, we are looking to down post 17 and post 16. So post 16 is Banner Lords only. And then post 17 is obviously going to lead us into post 18, which then protects Mana Shrine 1. So we're trying to get the Mana Shrines to get the extra points, essentially. Now... it's like 7.5 hours until the battle ends. Screenshots will be live on the YouTube page, of course, once this video goes live, so you guys can see what the final outcome was. But essentially, I'm going to sleep soon because I have work in the morning, and so I can't stay up much longer. So suboptimally, I'm just gonna have, I don't think I can take out either of these posts, so I'm just gonna have to sink my attacks into essentially the defense towers and the magic towers. So what we're gonna do here is we're going to go against OC Ingo, who has 43 million player power. That's pretty crazy. So we may lose this. We'll see. We'll see. You know, one way to find out, right? So they have 530,000 player power. 2 mythicals. That's not anything too crazy. So I think what we'll do here, we have, you know, a lot of buffs. We have Armands. We have Podreg. We're going to bring in kind of our Taurus Marichka combination, and then I think that's really all we need to do. Obviously, we'll still want to bring a 4th champion, though I'm not going to trio it, but I'm just trying to think, because like he's got AoE, which can trigger the Taurus Marichka pretty easily. He's going to metamorph, so we could bring in a Marius, but I think they're going to be in a stone skin anyways. What we'll do, though, is we'll actually do what we've seen in the last siege. We'll go ahead and we'll just bring in some random trash champion, right? So like a Morag. And we'll go to start, right? And we'll just do this. We'll go in here and we'll see what's going on. We'll see if they're in stone skin, or we'll see if they're, you know, just hanging out. Because if they're just hanging out, we might end up bringing a Marius, but I highly doubt they're going to be just hanging out. Yeah, so Podreg and Embrace are just hanging out, though. So realistically, we could bring a Marius, because then when Lazarius metamorphs, it's going to have a chance to essentially clap the Embrace, right? So putting the Enfeeble and whatnot. But we're going to take in the actual team here now. Luckily, so my... I'm just trying to think. We do have stone skin. They don't really have a way to remove it apart from our Mons, which would be annoying, but that should be okay. I'm just thinking too, because like Marius isn't inside stone skin, so maybe something like this would be all right. Could obviously also bring in a Carnage. I haven't used Carnage before. Carnage would be good because the Embrace is going to be AoEing a lot. Carnage is inside stone skin. So I think we may try Carnage, right, and just see what we're able to get done here. Now we will put Marichka in the lead. So I have Wand of Submission on my Marichka as well as the Sheep on the Fabian, which is quite nice. Everybody on my team is inside Stone Skin as well. So essentially if my Fabian doesn't like cut in, or if my Fabian doesn't go first, we're essentially going to have that protection for 1 turn as well, which is quite nice. So we do get a turn meter boost there, which is good. We do get the Embrace coming in and taking away our protection, and then everybody gets stunned except the Carnage, unfortunately. And we aren't throwing it back here either. We get absolutely dunked on, but I think we're cooking here. I think we're cooking. The ally attack comes in. That means that Podreg's going to get clapped. We now just have to clap the Armands here, which should be fairly easy, yeah, because he targets the Marichka, so he gets taken down. So there we go. That's how you'd beat a team like that. Now the second team is open. And we have an interesting one. So we have no... You know what? I think we can probably... somebody failed an attack against this, which is kind of funny. I think we can probably take this team out as well. We're going to do it very slightly differently, though. So what we'll do, actually, is we'll still bring our Marichka Taurus. But we'll bring Fabian. Right? So something like this. And then we're also going to bring Harima. So the reason for that is because Fabian is obviously going to have a chance to cut in after Siphi buffs, because I imagine the Siphi is probably going to be the fastest. The only thing that's kind of questionable here, though, is we might have problems if the Fabian locks us out, but long term I think we'll be doing okay. And then obviously the Marius is going to be directly countered by the Harima there, so I think this should work pretty well. Obviously we could bring a Crixia to just reset the lockout if we do get locked out by the Fabian, but the problem with that, of course, is that they have Marius, so we do still have the 1 rebattle left if needed as well. We get the counterattack coming in there. Siphi's going to go ahead and revive instead of counterattacking, which is kind of, or instead of buffing up, which is kind of funny. She's very high resistance as well, unfortunately. We're going to go ahead and just see if we can't take out the Fabian again. There it is. Let's go ahead and hit into the Shuzen here. This is also giving us turn meter boost, which is not good because it means that we're going to lose our Stone Skin, unfortunately. But we're going to go ahead and just clap here, take out the Shuzen. That way we don't need to worry about the block actives. Now, the extra turns have been coming in from the Marichka, which means that she's going to be off cooldown here right away, which is perfect, so we can heal up. We get another extra turn. We're going to A1 in there. Now, I am lucky enough to have 2 Wand of Submissions on my account, both of which you're actually looking at right now. So, you've seen the Wand of Submission proc there too on the Siphi Sleep. So one of my wands is on Marichka. The other wand is actually on Harima. So very, very cool stuff. Let's go ahead and try to clap here. Perfect. We do take her out. So now we can just go ahead and throw it on auto. It doesn't really matter what happens. Fabian isn't going to be able to solo this entire team as much as he might wish that he could. It is what it is. And there it is. Harima takes him out. Perfect. So those are my 2 attacks. Both victories, and we have down defense tower 3, of course. So there we go. That'll give us a decent little chunk of points to work with here. And we are continuing on. So in terms of their stronghold, here's how they did. So interesting team here coming in for the victory. Double, oh, why can't I remember his name right now? Hegemon. There we go. Double Hegemon. Looks like we had a loss here into a win. I do like the Podreg combined with the Embrace combination. That's very good. I really want a Nice as well. I know, shocking, right? I want one of the best champions in the entire game. Who would have thought? Who would have seen that coming? But really just looking to try and get, like, you know, a really good mythical at this point because, you know, I have Crixia. But apart from that, I mean, I also have Aphidus, so I can't complain too much because after his rework, it's absolutely insane how good he is. But I mean, I do a lot of PvP these days, so not having the Arbase, not having the Commodus, not having the Galathier, not having the Siegfried really hurts, right? Like it's crazy. Not having, you know, so many of those champions. Embrace is obviously awesome too, but I don't even have an awakening for him quite yet because I don't spend obscene amounts of money, unfortunately. But yeah, it is what it is, I suppose, right? So those are going to be my attacks. Those are really the defenses that they had going as well. So it doesn't look like there's really any standout defense. Obviously, so this one is a bit of a standout because we haven't been able to take it out quite yet. But, you know, it's a Banner Lords only. They have a 6-star Awakened Taurus Marichka, +4 6-star Awakened Androck. And then also a Kaja in there. That is an absolutely nasty team because you have Sheep on both the Taurus and the Marichka, so you can't really dependably control them. And then obviously if you hit one, Taurus is going to hit you. Oh, excuse me. And then Androck is quite a beast at keeping the team alive, certainly. So it's definitely tough to get through something like that. It looks like we're one team away from taking down this magic tower as well. Same thing with this particular magic tower. So it does definitely feel pretty good to take out that magic tower. And then also, obviously, like I mentioned, I'm definitely going to be looking more into developing some sort of a rare team. Because I'm already kind of like the, you know, not to brag or anything, but I'm already kind of the rare specialist, quote-unquote, out of my clan. To some extent, at least. So I've been called upon to take down rare stages in the past when, you know, we're facing a rare defense. And then also, you know, whenever there's a rare defense that needs placed in, it's usually on my account to do so. So if I could get an even stronger, you know, an even stronger build with like a Harrier or something like that, like it's something that people do not expect to see, right? But again, having like an A3 that's a 5x multiplier with a 50% inbuilt defense ignore, if you can put him inside Savage, that's 75%, and then, you know, Helm Smasher proc, you're just straight up ignoring defense. It's kind of crazy how much defense ignore stuff is in the game these days, but I mean, it kind of is what it is. It's where we're at in raids. So that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching. Let me know down below how the sieges are going so far for you guys, and as always, I'll see you next time.